Hey everybody, so thank you for joining us today. I promise you, this is literally the last one, right? And the interesting thing about this one is we talked about all these different things, the lead up, the recruitment, the process, but what about after the game? So Ellis is a former student athlete, high school student athlete, former lifelong athlete. Him and Jordan played flag football together when they was 5 or 7 years old. And from high school, Jordan came to the McDonough, and Ellis was always kind of like his big brother, spiritual guide, for a lack of a better term, protector. So again, you know, what about life after the game? And that's really the whole purpose of the KOBY curriculum. My new book, everybody please make sure you grab a copy of both books out there, The Fifth Quarter, because as Dr. Christie just said, and a couple of our other speakers just said, the ball is going to stop bouncing. And a lot of times the ball is going to stop bouncing a lot sooner than most people even anticipate. You know what I mean? So my guest right here is Ellis McKennie, student athlete, former student athlete. But Ellis, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Marty. So I came here to McDonough as a young sixth grader. This place is an incredible place of opportunity for a lot of young men and women. And I had left, I grew up in Randallstown where, like you said, me and Jordan played flag football together, and Jordan was on our baseball team for about a week, and baseball wasn't his thing. And then, come back around, and he's a freshman at McDonough when I'm a junior, and then at Maryland, he's a freshman at Maryland when I'm a junior. So I kind of was with Jordan every step of the way. And so after Jordan's passing and the events that occurred, I was definitely with Marty as much as I could be in order to, find the strength to keep going, but make sure it doesn't happen to anyone else. And so that was my original involvement and really just trying to help this foundation get off the ground. And so now 7 years later, when we're doing stuff like this, it's just really exciting. A little bit about myself, I'm a practicing attorney now. I work for Wiggins Law Group in Columbia. I just moved there from Venable. I went to the University of Maryland, got my master's in public policy there, went to law school at GW. And I'm excited to have this conversation with Marty because I think it's really important to make sure that student athletes, everything we've been talking about today is about advocating for yourself and make sure the main thing's the main thing and keeping your star player first and all that. But like Marty said, I strongly disagree with the theories that having a plan B is planning for failure. I think having a plan B is the way you need to go into life and making sure that you're ready to tackle every situation that comes your way, that you have something in your toolbox, because who knows what's going to happen, who knows when the day is going to come that you have to stop playing. And if it hits you at the wrong time, you may find yourself really just drowning in this world, because there's really not a lot of people after you leave playing college athletics that are just ready to come help you. You got to have and be ready to help yourself. And so I think I'm glad that Marty asked me to come speak about this. I felt like my path was one that I worked really hard for, and it paid off in the long run. And now I'm hoping that we can continue to bring this kind of message to more and more student athletes.
Yeah, thank you. So Ellis, for us and everyone in the room, when Ellis graduated with his master's, I called his mom Jody. And I said, Tanya and I want to offer Ellis a position with the Jordan McNair Foundation. We want him to be our very first executive director. And this was what, 3-4 years ago?
Yeah.
4 years ago.
4 years ago.
4 years ago. Yeah. And we all met out one evening for dinner, and we kind of dropped it on him. And that generation, what generation are you?
I'm kind of a millennial, not
really.
A
millennial, I'm sorry. So, we threw a number out there, and then here comes the millennial stuff, right? Yeah. So it's like, oh, well, ED makes this, and we're saying, bro, you just graduated. So so it was definitely interesting in regards to that journey. But Ellis, you had 3 options. Mm-hmm. You could come work with us from our offer. Obviously you had just graduated. Yep. You had opportunity to potentially play in the NFL. Yep. Right, and you chose law school. So where did law even come from in the equation? Like, take us back early. Like, was it something early? Was it something you just thought about later, or?
Well, it's definitely early. It starts with being 11 years old when Barack Obama gets elected president. And so as a young black kid, you see that and you get inspired to want to be like him and stuff like that, and learn more about his life, that he was a practicing attorney, a constitutional law scholar, all that kind of stuff. So from a young age, I kind of thought that's where I wanted to go, just because, you know, that's what I'd seen, and, you know, I was really interested in politics at the time, and that kind of progressed throughout my time in high school and at Maryland. And so when it was time to, you know, figure out what I want to do for a career path, law school was kind of like right down the path. It's what I'd planned the most of the entire time. It's when my undergrad was in government and politics, and my master in public policy are all kind of good primers before you go to law school.
Got it. So when you were 11, it was Obama.
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
Impressive. I didn't know that.
Yep, 2008, I was 11. And
wow.
I remember staying up. My parents let me stay up till the votes were counted. I remember his final speech, and that night, it's a memory that will stick with me forever.
Oh, wow.
For sure.
Wow, that's dynamic. So Ellis, since you had already kind of had that locked and loaded, realistically, when you see other, let's talk about transferable skills from being a student athlete, because see, before, I always thought the student athletes were at a disadvantage because it's like, well, you never had a job,
right.
You know what I mean? But in reality, sports is a job,
exactly.
Right? And really, so, you know, for me, you never really had a job, you really don't have any life experiences, but in reality, you know, getting up early, you know, showing up on times, dealing with pressure, high pressure moments, wins, losses. So can you speak to that to really kind of emphasize like the significance of those transferable skills into any?
Yeah. No, absolutely. A lot of people too will just look at it and say time management. That's an easy thing to say, right? Like it teaches you time management, but like what does that mean? You know, that's kind of, you can learn that from going into the military. You can learn that from a whole bunch of different things. What it really teaches you is how to respond to bad situations, because you're going to lose games. You're going to have a bad practice. You're going to mess up a play. Your coach is going to yell at you. Do you put your head down and cry about it, or do you like keep your head moving? You know, way the coach used to say, you spit out your tooth and swing back. So playing college athletics teaches you how to swing back. And you have to swing back in life, because life's going to hit you a lot, and it hits you hard. I mean, it hit us hard in 2018, right? And we had to swing back. And so, and I was joking with one of my former bosses that, you know, I was in her office, she was giving me a critique on something I turned into her. And she goes, I hope I'm not being too hard on you. I said, listen. I said, I played college football. I had writers in my DMs telling me how much I suck. Like the Washington Post articles about, you know, me not being able to, me being a bad player. Whatever you say is not going to hurt me. Like, and so it's being able to respond to those types of things. But then it's also knowing how to work with people. A college locker room for any sport is going to be the most diverse place in the country. You're going to have kids from the South. You're going to have white, black, rich, poor. That's a beautiful thing about sports, that it levels the playing field and puts you all on one team for one goal. And every business and every company out there needs people like that, who are ready to drop all things at the door. Absolutely. I mean, number one, you face a severe identity crisis. The first thing you immediately, and for me, it was a little bit tougher as well because it was during the middle of COVID as well. So everyone's at home. There's really not a whole lot going on. And you go from being your entire life Ellis the football player to now Ellis the, finish the sentence. I have no idea what I am. I played football my entire life. Past 5 years I walked around campus, and that's was what the most important thing to me was. And so now you got to rediscover the things you like. You got to rediscover how you put yourself, like how you introduce yourself to other people. What's important to you. You have all this new time now, right? That you're not practicing anymore. You got to find stuff that makes you happy. And so that was something that I like really struggled with at the beginning, and then was able to kind of mold my own identity during law school. And so I think that was really the hardest part. And the other hard part is, when you go to a professional school, whether it's grad school, PA school, law school, whatever it is, you are a professional student now. Like, you're not just a kid in undergrad. You are a professional just because you're in a classroom doesn't change anything. You have to go ready to work every day, because it's competitive, it's cutthroat, everyone's there to make a buck, just like if you were going to play in the NFL. Everyone's there to make money. So you need to be there and be locked in at all times, ready to rock and roll.
Got it.
Yeah.
So Ellis, our goal now really is to let a high school student athlete see somebody like you. Right. You're relatable from an age perspective, right? You could be somebody's big brother, uncle, cousin, or whatever the case may be. What do you tell that high school student athlete, that football player, that basketball player, male or female, that may be in an inner city school, right, in urban America, what do you tell them? Because a lot of times, in our space, let's just call it what it is. A lot of times people think, everybody thinks they're going to make it, right? Everybody thinks they're going to make it. And a lot of times, let's just call it what it is. Sports are the low-hanging fruit, right? But I think that if you have somebody and they see you as an example, right, realistically, and we know you were, gifted academically because, you graduated at 17, right? So what do you say to the average person, or not average, but that young person in urban America to say, hey, you know what, if you study hard, you know what I mean, if you communicate well, you can do this as well?
Yeah. I think number one, there's no ceiling. There's no limit to what you can do, whether that, and don't let finances be a factor. That's easy to say, but if you grind, you can find a way to get yourself through where you need to go, whether that's a cheaper schooling option, whether that's taking out loans to bet on yourself, whether that's help from the government. Like there are ways and avenues that if you're really dedicated to something, then you can get there. And it's tough to say to some kids who may look around and feel like they don't have many options other than playing ball. But that's kind of leads into the second thing. You will never get help that you don't ask for. People are not just going to come around and bring you up and want to pull you with them. You need to go search it out. You need to go find people in positions that you want to be in and go talk to them. Go have coffee with them. Create a relationship so before it becomes time to ask for something. I think that is one of the most important things in networking. Make sure you have a relationship with people and you talk to them outside of asking for a favor, because then that makes a real relationship. Then when it is time to ask for a favor, they're there for you and ready to go.
Got it. So in the process of building a relationship, what does that look like? We know what it looks like,
right?
But what does that look like for a high school student athlete, like getting involved, volunteering, just not saying, okay, I'm a senior, or hey, I'm going to graduate and I need these community service hours just to graduate. Like, how proactive can a young person be in regards to that?
So it's going to start with your own network. You're going to start with the people that you know, and if it's someone's parent who works a job you think is cool, or if it's just someone that you see on the news or something. We live in an age where everyone is accessible. Everyone is one email away, one DM away. Everyone is accessible. You go put yourself in the right rooms and in the right situations, and you just got to have a little bit of brazen to you. You got to have something, that does come with a little bit of moxie, that you got to be able to walk up to someone and say, hey, I find you interesting. Can I have a cup of coffee with you and learn more about what you do? And it's a tough thing to do, but it's something with practice that comes along with it. But then I also think you got to find stuff that is important to you and that you can put purpose into. And you talk about community service hours. Community service hours are great unless you're sitting in the back of a room just trying to sign the paper, right? But if you find something, like for me, I thought it was Special Olympics. I coached the Special Olympics basketball team when I was here at McDonough, and I loved those kids. I loved their parents. I loved going to the games with them. That was one of the most exciting times of my life, was getting to coach that team. And you discover people in a different way, and you meet so many different people from putting yourself out there like that. It's a constant battle trying to empty your emails. It is, you have an email telling you to do this, and you better get it done before the day's over, and then you move on to the next one. That's kind of what it is, and whether that's doing research or writing a draft of a motion, or it could be a bunch of different things. Right now, I moved to a smaller firm. It's a medical malpractice litigation firm, and this one is a bit more hands-on. At a big firm, especially as a 26-year-old and as a young attorney, you do a lot of just menial administrative work, it seems like. But now at the firm I'm at, I'm actually involved in litigation, where I'm making strategic decisions on how best to defend our clients. I'm helping do research on certain illnesses and causation and standard of care for medical practitioners. And then we go to court and we put on a trial, which is, it's a whole other thing. It's an arena that I'm really excited for, because it's an arena that reminds you a lot of sports. It's very adversarial. You've got your team, you've got their team, and the truth is somewhere in the middle, and whoever can get to the truth first is likely going to be the one that's going to win. And so that's kind of it's an exciting game that, reminds me a bit of sports that I'm really excited to tackle.
Got it. Yeah, that sounds like the game, and you sound like you were more than prepared for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. And that shows the preparation for those transferable skills.
Exactly.
Got it.
Exactly right. You can't be nervous speaking to a jury of 12 people if you've played in front of 100,000 before.
About that.
So, yeah.
Great analogy. So as we wrap up, Ellis, if you could leave athletes and families with one message, what would it be?
I'd say just keep swinging. You know, you're going to lose a lot. You're going to lose probably more than you win. But if you keep fighting back, you're going to have a breakthrough. I think you make a plan, you put your mind to it, and then you don't let anyone tell you that you can't achieve that plan, and you keep swinging until you do. I think you need, but that's easier said than done, one. And I think two, it needs to be one that is ready to be malleable and move to the circumstances. It can't be, I want to play in the NFL and that's all I want to do, and then you're going to do that the rest of your life until you're 45 and have never worked a job before, right? It's got to be something different. It's got to be, you know, that I want to be able to be the best man, husband, and be able to provide for my family, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to do that, right? Or it's got to be, I want to be the best son, be the best, you know, husband to my loved ones, and make sure that I'm there for them and can provide for them, or something like that. And when you find that, and you find that joy, and you find that passion, you just keep swinging.
Great. Everybody, thank you for spending the day with us. Please give yourselves a round of applause. Man, the KOBY Summit, we're growing. This is what it's all about. I think everybody experienced what we discussed, you know, how you get there, what to do while you're there, and most importantly, what to do after you leave, for sure. And I don't think I could sum it up other than that. Ask everybody, please fill out those post surveys at the end, behind your lanyards, and please just continue to follow us. We're moving this KOBY Summit, this KOBY High School Student Athlete Summit around, along with our KOBY curriculum, our KOBY podcast. So we just thank everybody that was involved today, volunteers, attendees, speakers, everybody. So you just really made our day and literally joined us for another successful event. I'm still amazed at how far Jordan's legacy has come, and Ellis has been there with us from the very, 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 very beginning. And I'm still blown away sometimes at the impact that we made, or that we continue to make. So everybody, again, thank you. Man, enjoy the rest of your weekends. If you're here tomorrow with us for our 6th annual Jordan McNair Youth Football Clinic, it won't be as long as a day, but we will have hopefully about 100 kids out here tomorrow just having fun, and we'll be doing some parent education, and then we're done for the summer. I think that's a wrap. It's been a busy one for sure. So again, everybody, thank you again. Thank you for coming. Let's give yourself a round of applause and have a great weekend. Take care. And if everybody, please take some pictures on your way out. Everybody, make sure you grab a book. And thank you again. Bye.